Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to jump straight in. Yeah. So first, let's get ourselves started. How are we going to implement whatever we said in the last video, where I'm talking about building a new cylinder. Okay, building a new cylinder class using a slightly different method. Okay, so here's our mesh builder. And how did we build a cylinder before? We actually built a cylinder before like so. Say build cylinder, we get a radius, we get a height. We say we can put in a cylinder name. Okay, so well, how do we sort of update this thing? Okay, so I'm going to sort of copy and paste this code over. Okay, I'll copy and paste this code over. Instead of build cylinder, I'll say it's like build cylinder. Excuse me. The buildCylinder2. Okay, I'll call this buildCylinder2. And let me also change the name of this so that it's easier to differentiate. I want this thing to be called buildCylinder1. So, okay, so where else do I have build cylinder? Okay, I'll have this build cylinder. Build cylinder. So it's just these three places where this function is called. Yeah, so this is the build cylinder 1, and the only place that the build cylinder 1 is called will be in this testing here, cylinder 1. Okay, so this one should make the naming thing more consistent. So let's have a look at build cylinder 2. And it says here radius is 100, height is 300, cylinder name is, well, not cylinder 1 anymore, we'll call it cylinder 2. Okay, so normally we will have, we'll need to have a radius, we'll need to have a height. And as I said in the last video, you'll need a vector and a point, right? A base point, they call it. Okay, pardon me, I needed a break when I kind of paused to get some water. Yeah, I fast forwarded that bit. So anyway, that's why the screen is slightly different. But anyway, let's get back on point. Okay, normally you have this radius here and this height here, which you have to give as arguments, or just leave it at the default value. Okay, so what I want to do now is just to tidy things up and use this thing called attributes. Okay, so when I have this mesh builder object, I want to define a sort of radius, and I want to also define a sort of a sort of a height. I also want to define the 2 points which I'm going to use to make the vector, namely the point at the bottom, as I was talking in the last video, the point at the base of the cylinder, and the point at the top of the cylinder. So I will put this under the get and set functions. So let's talk about set radius. Okay, so I have this here. Self.radius equals what? We'll give 100 by default. Radius equals 100. Okay, self.radius equals radius. Okay, so that's what setting the radius is. Then we'll have a get a function for it as well, get radius. So this is just for making things a lot neater. Self.radius. And next thing I want to take is cylinder height. Def set z, okay, cylinder height, self height. Okay, the height here by default will be 300. Okay, self.cylinder height equals to what? Height. Okay, and then I'll have one more. Def get cylinder height. Self return self.cylinder height. So these are get and set functions for radius and cylinder height. So I can use that to change these two things over here. Not only that, I also want to sort of set a vertex, right? On a def set, I will call this the bottom inlet. Okay, I will just define the bottom as the inlet, the top as the outlet. Yeah. So bottom inlet point, self point equals to what? 0, 0, minus 150. This is a tuple class. Let's put our colon here. And okay, there is nothing else. Hold on. Yeah, I want to vim these two, meshing with patches. So I want to vim two files at once so I can keep flipping back and forth. Okay, so one is this thing called make vertex. So we'll have to make vertex over here. Okay, so this is the point. Okay, x equals to point, okay, 0, y equals to 0.1, because this is how Python likes to index. Z equals 0.2. And what else? Okay, I'll write this in, and then I want to use the make vertex function. Of course, we'll need to have a self thing down there as well. Okay. Okay, make vertex x, y, z. All right. And I'll say self.bottom inlet point equals to self.jumpy.makeVertex. Then I will have one to get this as well. Def get bottom inlet point self. Now I'll just return self bottom inlet point. Okay. Of course, I can do a bit of copying and pasting here. I just want to be slow. All right, so I can do the same for these ones, except instead of a bottom, I will return the top. So I'll call it the top outlet. So I'll just delete all of this. I'll call this top outlet. So I'll just have this set top outlet point and get top outlet point. Okay. The default point will not be minus 150, it will be 150. Okay, so the top outlet point and the bottom outlet point are over here. Okay, so X, Y, Z are here. X, Y, and Z. All right, so bottom out. This is not bottom inlet point anymore. We'll call this the top outlet point, and then this one will return top outlet point. I use the full stop to actually do the repeat command in case you don't know, but now you know. Okay, so I'm going to go up, and I'm not going to use this radius and height default 100 and height 300 anymore. I'll just call this what, default. Okay, height also will be default. Okay, so this one will enable you this one will enable you to give whatever argument you want, but if radius equals to default, that means you don't give in any argument. Radius equals self.getRadius. So that will be the radius, which we actually sort of define here. Okay, so anyway, we also need to do some standard, setting that should be run in the constructor. Yeah, this is the import modules part. Print intro, import modules, initialize salome objects. We also can make a function in the constructor that says set def set defaults self. Okay, set dimension defaults. Okay, what's it do? It really sets the dimensions. So self.set top outlet point, self.set bottom inlet point, self.set cylinder height and set radius. Set cylinder height, so it gives it some default values. Set radius. Okay, that's all. When I go up, set dimension defaults should be inside the constructor. So initialize some objects, and we give some defaults. What do you call that? Dimensions. Okay, self.set dimension defaults. Okay, hopefully things will work out. So that will actually set all these as the default dimensions, and the vertices, everything they are given. Okay, so if radius equals default, radius equals self.getRadius, I'm actually setting the dimensions in the constructor so that when I access this, it will be okay. If height equals to default, I'll do the same thing. Height equals self.getCylinder height. Okay, I'm going to do this same thing as well. In fact, I can also set a cylinder name. Yeah. Okay, you can set a cylinder name as well. Okay, instead of cylinder 1 and cylinder 2, I can actually just do another. Okay, maybe that's overkill. I don't want to do it. Okay, you just set a cylinder name over here. I'm not gonna bother. Okay, so again, height and radius equals to the default value. Change word default. Okay, and then I will repeat this command over here. I'll change it to default using the full stop. Okay, so next thing, I need to add some other arguments as well. Okay, so what are the other arguments? I need to get the bottom inlet point and top outlet point. Okay, bottom inlet point equals self.get bottom inlet point. Okay, top outlet point equals self.get top outlet point. Okay, so these two I'm not going to put it here inside the arguments because I want you to actually do it. Set the top inlet and bottom outlet using these what do you call that? Using these get and set functions. I'm not going to do it here because well, never mind. Let me think. Yeah, I want you to do it using the set functions. Okay, I'm not going to let you so-called, yeah, I'm not going to let you just put tuples in and have it set from there, because this is a neater way of doing things. And besides, you need to actually use this make vertex function in order to return this actual vertex anyway. So yeah, what gives? Yeah, so that's what we need. Okay, now the thing is, over here we aren't even going to use the height at all, right? We are not going to use the height because we are just going to define these 2 points, and after getting these 2 points, I will use the minimum distance function to determine the height. So this part, actually I don't even need this, so 3dd here. Okay, so anyway, here's it. First we build some dimensions for the cylinder, and I'm not going to use the height at all because I just need the top and bottom point. Okay, the only thing you kind of define here is the radius if you really want to change things. Otherwise, just use the get and set functions. Okay, so next we determine the height of the cylinder. So I'm going to try to do this what do you call that? Okay, maybe that's way too many. 1 2 3 4. Okay, this section does inter what? I can't. Intermediate calculations. I can't remember. Like it's like there's a word to use. It's just not coming to mind now. Okay. Intermediate calculations. Okay. Oops. Intermediate calculations. So what's this intermediate calculation talking about? For example, the minimum distance. So let's just do the minimum distance here. Okay. Okay. So I'll just have this here. Def min dist. Okay, self. And then start point Okay, and end point. Okay, so these are the two functions that need to be given, or these two things need to be given. Oopsie. Okay, so self.geompy min distance, start point and end point. So I will just use this as a return. Okay, so this is the minimum distance. I mean, of course, you can use this self.geompy minimum distance as well, but this is a lot shorter to write. It's a nice shorthand. So let's use this height equals to be, let's set this height to be equal to this minimum distance. Height equals self.minDist bottom. Okay, so I say start point equals bottom inlet point, end point equals to top outlet point. Okay, so this is the height based on this. And so we have a radius, we have a height, we can start making the cylinder. Okay, so oh yeah, we still need a vector. Okay, so let's do oops, I just close everything. Okay, def vector. Okay, I'll have self again, start point, end point. Again, so this is maybe get vector. I'll just call this get vector, and maybe I'll just to minimize confusion, I'll just say get minimum distance, because get functions are just here to return. So return things into the environment. So I will say this should be get minimum distance. So let's say get vector. Let's use this to get a vector. So how do we construct vectors? I'll go to bn. It says make vector, right? Geompy make vector. Vertex 1, vertex 2. So that's basically your start and end point. Return self.geompy make vector, start point, end point. So that's all. I want to just make the thing shorter, so I use this shorthand. So let's see, get vector, self.geompy, wrong, where am I? Height of cylinder. So thirdly, we get the vector necessary for cylinder construction. So vector equals to what? Self.get vector, start point equals to, oh yeah, I just copy and paste all of this. I'm not going to keep typing, wasting time. Yeah, there you go. Copy and paste. So we have the vector, we have a height, we have a bottom inlet point, and we have the radius. So with all of these things, we can actually use this make cylinder. All right. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, we'll say cylinder 2 is actually this whole thing here. Okay, and yeah, so this is what I'll do. Here's the get vector. This is the self get vector. This is self get minimum distance. Bottom inlet and top outlet. They're already built. They're already set in the system. And yep. Let's see. Vector self get geompy. Yeah, let's make the cylinder first. Vertex 1 is the bottom, so we'll just call this the bottom inlet point. Bottom inlet point. Vector 1 will be what? Just the vector that we are talking about here. This is actually radius, so we'll need to type in the radius here, and here is the cylinder height. Okay, so this is cylinder 2, then we'll add this to here. set the jumpy update browser, and we have self.cylinder1 equals to cylinder1, or rather self.cylinder2 equals cylinder2, and we'll return self.cylinder2. Okay. Now basically we should be able to have a buildCylinder2 here. Let's load it into the test part. Okay, we'll define the test. Not cylinder2, face naming code, or face name, test face naming, or test face name. Okay, self. All right, so cylinder object equals self.get cylinder object. Okay, same as usual. The build origin, and cylinder2 equals self dot is this. Okay, we'll just have this part called building cylinder2 first, and we'll finish test face name. So this is the first bit of the code. We of course okay, we will not call this test face name. Yeah, okay, face name. We'll just call it face name. The test is called face name. And let's try to load this up. I'm almost sure that there will be bugs, but let's see if we actually get lucky. We'll get the workspace object first. And we'll have self equals get workspace. Example, workspace object. Unexpected indent, never mind. So we'll initialize the workspace. We will get our test object. Test equals get self.get test object. Oh, right. I loaded the wrong what do you call that? I loaded the wrong wrong workspace object. A slightly different syntax there. Self equals get workspace object, so this is the correct one. I need to self test equals self.get test object. Okay, then I'll have test dot, I want to execute this code here called test face name. Okay, and let's see what's over here. Mesh builder has no attribute called jumpy. So where is jumpy? Let's see. Set top outlet point, line 230. So let's go to 230. Okay. Oh, jumpy is not set. Okay, so where is jumpy set? Right. So let's see. Self.get jumpy. Oh, that's fine. Get jumpy. Yeah, where did we get the jumpy from? Yes, jumpy equals to self jump builder new. Okay. Build origin has to come first. Okay. So basically, we forgot to set our jumpy properly here. Okay. Hold on, I'm a bit confused. Let me fast forward this thing, and then when I figure it out, I'll resume. Okay, I'm going to edit the code a little bit. Yeah. In build origin, I actually said jumpy equals self.jumpBuilder.new. I want to change everything now to self.jumpy. Okay. Self.jumpy equals this. Okay, and then I'll just keep going and going. I want to use self.jumpy now. I do not want to use this jumpy in my code. It's really gonna set things a little bit, make things a little bit, you know, what do you call it? A little bit confusing. So, okay, This code, I actually want to put it in my setGeometPy code. Let's see, setGeometPy. It's over here. So if GeometPy is default pass, I just want to say this is new. Okay. Default. If the setGeometPy is default pass, else if GeometPy equals to new, then I will make a new one. Self.GeometPy equals to self.geometbuilder.new, else self.geometpy equals GeometPy. So we'll do the setGeometPy and we'll say it's new. Okay. Self.setGeometPy. Self.setGeometPy. And then we'll just give it the new argument, and that should be able to make it work for this origin part, and hopefully for everything else as well. Let's see. Let's do buildCylinder 1 and 2. And I'll not do this anymore. Okay, oops, wrong one. Self.geometpy, self.geometpy. I don't want to do setting anymore. Likewise, I'll do the same here and just get rid of this. Okay, so we'll all be using self.geometpy by default. I'll not do this anymore. Okay, hopefully that cleans things up. Again, let's check for bugs. Test equals self.get test object. Okay, mesh builder has no attribute geometpy. Still, okay. Oh, I see. So before setting dimension defaults, which actually also sets the what do you call it? The vectors and everything, or sets the vertices, we actually need to build the origin first, because that will be the setGeometPy. Okay, maybe this thing I will just say self.setGeometPy.new. I'll put it in the constructor, not over here. Okay, so we need to initialize a geometpy object. Self.setGeometPy new. And since that is set, I will remove it here from the build origin. Okay, so yeah, tidiness. Let's try again. Okay, in build origin, geometpy is not defined. I will just get this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. Okay, try again. Okay, bottom inlet point not defined. Where is this? Line 128. Let's go to 128. Probably some typo there. Yeah. Okay, let's go again. Oh, I see. So this is 132. Let's keep going until we squash all the bugs. Okay. And let's see whether cylinder 2 actually pops up. Okay, cylinder 2 does pop up. After all that effort. Okay, update study, there's nothing to update. Okay, there you go. Mesh, geometry, OX, OY, OZ. Alright, let's do it again. Test phase name, and look, cylinder 2 is nicely put. Yay! Okay, now we are very confident that it works. So just call it a day. And yeah, keep your code neat. If not, you'll be struggling like me in the middle of the video. But okay, so this is how we actually, I guess, construct a buildCylinder2 class with all the various attributes. After this step, then we can start extracting faces out one by one. Then we'll just continue from there. Thanks for watching. See you again. Bye-bye.